Good morning, students. Welcome to the statistics class. This is Matthews, who teaches statistics of the first PUC and second PUC of Karnataka state syllabus. Okay, this is my channel, Statistics by Matthews. You can subscribe to this channel and you will be getting all the latest videos that I upload regarding statistics of first and second PUC of Karnataka syllabus. Okay, thank you. Now let me continue with the lesson, students. In the previous video, I have explained to you regarding the index numbers, and we have various formulae of index numbers and various weighted aggregative index numbers we have, and we were getting different answers for different formulae that we use. And for that sake, we were having a confusion which would be the best index number or which is the ideal index number. So to understand or to know which is the best or the ideal index number, we have learned about how to test them or put them under test. So there were 4 tests. One is called as, which is that unit test, time reversal test, factor reversal test, and circular test. So now in this, when we have put these index numbers under those tests, so we have got various results, and on that we came to know that certain index numbers satisfies certain tests, and and that is what we have learned. But all the index numbers, right, whether they satisfy or no, is what was the confusion. So in that we came out saying that one index number, that is Fisher's index number, satisfies almost everything, and satisfies especially 2 important tests, that is time reversal test and factor reversal test. And that is one of the reason why Fisher's index number is called as an ideal index number or the best index number. So there are various reasons also, students. There are various reasons why Fisher's index number can be called as an ideal index number. One of the reasons, I said, it satisfies TRT and FRT. Number 2, it considers both current year quantities and base year quantities into consideration. It considers there in calculations. That is the second reason. The third reason is it uses geometric mean, students. You know, geometric mean is considered the best average for averaging ratios. So index numbers is all about ratios, is it right? So when we take geometric mean to average ratios, and index numbers are specialized averages, and for ratios, best average is geometric mean. Fisher's index number uses geometric mean. That is also one of the reasons why it is called as an ideal index number. And the fourth one is it is it is not biased, students. Fine, right? It is not biased. It is free of bias, they said. It is free of upward bias or downward bias. So these are the 4 factors or the 4 points that we can write and say that Fisher's index number is an ideal index number. Okay. So moving further, students, in index numbers itself, I have told you about there are 3 types of index numbers: price index numbers, quantity index numbers, value index numbers. So in price index numbers, again there are 2 varieties, students. One is called as a wholesale price index number, WPI, wholesale price index number, which speaks about all the articles that are sold in the wholesale markets. So we will be considering the prices of all the commodities or all the items which are sold in the wholesale market, right? Like potatoes, onions, or vegetables. It may be grocery items, whatever it is. In the wholesale market, the prices are being shown, and we will come to know about the prices in the wholesale market. Up and down is what we come to know through that wholesale price index. And WPI is an important one, and this WPI is an important one for all the people in the planning. So based on that, they have certain things that they can do, certain measures that they can take. So another index number that we have it is called as consumer price index number, or we call it as cost of living index number, right? Cost of living or consumer price index number. Who is a consumer? You and I are consumers, right? You and I are the consumers, or we consume the items, we consume whatever it is. That is why we are called as consumers, right? Right. And this consumer price index number, or the cost of living index number, speaks about, right, what is the cost of living about a particular person or a particular family or a particular community, right? This is a very important measure, students. Okay, cost of living we call it as, the consumer price index number we call it as. Fine. There is a lot of variation between consumer prices and wholesale prices, students. Consumer price, we can also take it as a retail price, students. Okay, retail price or consumer prices and wholesale price. There is a difference. Wholesale prices will be less, and consumer prices will be a little bit high. Retail prices will be high. So we are the people you directly, right, access to that retail outlets and get it. That is the reason why the prices will be a little bit high for us. So this is what we are accessible to, right? We are not accessible to the wholesale market. So we are accessible to the retail market. So when we purchase the items from the retail market, it is affected to us. That is the reason why we have to calculate this consumer price index number, or the cost of living index number. Now, what is this cost of living? Cost of living, students. The cost of living is all about, the cost incurred in buying basket of goods and services for our daily living. Okay, right? So we have to live. So to live, what are the important things? To survive, what are the important things? We require three things. We call it in India as roti, kapada or makan, right? Food, clothing and housing, right? Three things are required. Fine. And these three things are available free of cost. Now we have to pay. We have to pay for food, we have to pay for clothing, we have to pay for housing. Is that right? So when we pay, then only our what it is, our cost of living can be identified. Okay? Why it is? Because there are different classes of people, different communities are there. Based on what we eat, based on what we wear, based on where we live, we can identify their living style or the cost of living. So understand, students. So these are three essential things. So whatever cost that we incur in buying these baskets of goods and services, I would like to write it as basket of goods and services. The cost incurred or the cost met by a specified class of consumers, in buying basket of goods and services is called as consumer price index number or cost of living index number. So cost of living index number, again I would like to repeat, cost of living index number is the cost met by a specified class of consumers in buying basket of goods and services. We have to speak very clearly here, a specified class of consumers, they said. Specified class of consumers. What does that mean, students? Class of consumers, right? We are all consumers. Everyone in this world, and everyone in our locality, everyone in our neighborhood, everyone are all consumers. Now, all the levels of all their classes is one and the same? No, some consume, right, in a hi-fi way, right, in the things which are branded, which are costly. So they are, we can see that there are different classes of consumers like that. Okay, right? Some we see that there are government employees. That is a different class of consumers. We have private employees, right? Private employees, we say, not private government, private employees we have. right? Government employees, semi-government employees. Then we have business people. Then we have agriculturists, right? Then we have daily laborers. Okay, so all these are different classes of consumer students. Okay, each class has their own living style. You understand? Each class has their own living style. Each class has their own tastes, right? And their habits, right? Will be, right? Each one will have their own taste and own habits and own consumption habits they will be having. So what are we supposed to do? So when we are doing this consumer price index number, we have to be very particular with the class of consumers. That is why a cost met by a specific class of consumers in buying a basket of goods and services. What are basket? Basket of goods and services mean that goods, like for example I said, all the essential things that are required to survive, like rice, whatever it is, whatever we consume, whatever we eat, right? Goods, physical goods, whatever it is, like it may be grocery items, it may be, right, anything that it is, whatever things that is essential for us, it may be clothing, right? That all the things that we purchase, right? Those are all goods and services. Some services are important for us nowadays. Like for example, we speak about electricity. Electricity is a service being provided by BESCOM, it may be HESCOM, it may be. These are service providers. Telephone, service providers. Okay, these are all services. Medical facilities, medical hospitals are the service providers. Right, hotel is a service providers. Fine. So their services are not free of cost. Right? Their services are not free of cost. We have to pay for their service. We have to pay for electricity bill. We have to pay for water bill. We have to pay for a doctor's bill. We have to pay for even what we call it as phone bills. We have to pay. Right? So these are all services we have to buy for a living. So these are the costs that we incur, right? And that is why we call this to be as a cost of living. So I'll tell you again, once again, the definition. Cost of living index number is the cost met by a specified class of consumers in buying basket of goods and services. Is that clear? In buying basket of goods and services, students. Okay, right. Now what is the use of these, students? What is the use? What are the uses? Number one, they said it is commonly used in the fixation of salaries. It is commonly used in the fixation of salaries. Okay, fixation of salaries, dearness allowance. Okay, dearness allowance or the grant of bonus to the employees, students. Dearness allowance or the grant of bonus to the employees. Okay, I'll repeat. It is commonly used in fixation of salary, dearness allowance or the grant of bonus to the employees. So what is this, students? In the fixation of salary, using this cost of living index number, the people who wants to fix a salary, asking or looking into their cost of living, they start to fix a salary for a particular employee. Any organization, right? They are starting up. They have a startup company and they want to pay for their employees. They look into the cost of living. They could look into this index number, cost of living index number. Based on that, they will start fixing the salary. This is number one. Number two is if they have to give any allowances, dearness allowances, the DA we call it as, if they want to enhance them or increase the allowances, or to give an allowances also, they have to consider cost of living index number. Okay, this is one. And the thing is, next one is grant of bonus. Any bonuses that they have to give, right? Anything that in the yearly, in a whole annual work, 1 year of work, whatever they do, in all the profits that they gain, right? Some allowances or some bonuses have to be given to the employees to boost them. Is it right? Right, so like that, students in any of the companies, the production is going on good, and when the profits are increasing at that time, this is one of the factor to encourage the workers or the employees bonuses will be given to them. So it has to be given. And how they give bonus, there are various levels of workers. Okay, there are various levels of workers. So when we see various levels of workers, you cannot give everyone the same amount of bonus. Okay, we cannot give everyone the same amount of bonus. We have to give them according to their classes, according to their income. So that is how cost of living will help each and every one in the people who are making policies. For those people it will be useful. So cost of living index number is the one useful for this. Number two, it is used by the government for the formulating of price policies. It is used by the government in formulating price policies. Okay. What is that we need to understand here is, government are the people who form the prices, who forms the price policy or the wage policies. Okay, these are the policy makers. These are the people who derive policies. These are the people who make policies or draft policies. So to draft a salary policy, wage policy means salary policy. To draft a wage policy or a salary policy, it is important they have to take into consideration cost of living index number. And the third one, it is used to compare the changes in the cost of living. Okay, if ever you want to know about the cost of living of a particular community, of a particular class, group of employees, last year how was their cost of living, this year how is the cost of living, to compare it, we have to take the help of cost of living, right? And the fourth one is used in the wage negotiations and wage contract, students. So wage negotiations, salary negotiations and salary contracts to be given, right, or in negotiating, right, is what we need to, we take the help of these index numbers and we do it, students. So like that, right, we also calculate the real wages. The real wages will be calculated using the money wages, right, and divided by the cost of living into 100. So this is how we calculate the real wages, which will be very much helpful for us to understand about an employee and about the income and about the expenditure of that particular employee. So for all that, students, we need to take the help of this consumer price index number. So these are the uses of index number. So I have explained to you about consumer, what is a consumer price index number. I have explained to you about the uses of index number, uses of consumer price index number. So in the next class, I will be explaining to you about the steps in the construction of consumer price index numbers. Thank you.